Alright, so it's Droid charge time now. We did the Droid Incredible 2. Now it's the first 4G LTE Droid. Okay, we already got Thunderbolt, but that's not Droid branded, so this is technically the first. Here's the box. You can see they've done some cool stuff with it. Rather than just that standard, you know, the gray that we've seen on the Incredible 2 and other devices. You can see they went a little bit special since this is the first 4G Droid. So you can see it's got this sort of cover on the outside, and you can see through the box. Pretty sweet, right? If we slide that off, there is your Droid Charge Red Eye. Remember, every Droid has its own Red Eye. And it's a two-part box, sort of similar to the Thunderbolt's black box, but it just has Droid branding all over it. So let's pop it open. And there she is, the first ever Droid 4G LTE phone. And it's like fully saran wrapped, basically. So let's go ahead and pull all of that off. That is insane, actually. Oh, the device actually just slides out. Check that out. First ever sleeve on there too, and then there's another piece on the back. Let me put that aside just for a second, and let's show you what else is in the box just to get it out of the way. Pop this little thing off. We got Master Your Device manuals, again packaged up nicely. We also have your micro USB and your charger. Okay, that's pretty much it. Standard fare in the box. Get it all out of the way, so we can get right to the big dog. Alright, so here it is, the Samsung Droid Charge, the first ever Droid branded 4G LTE phone. Let me go ahead and peel off this back piece as well. And it's coming off in multiple pieces. Come on, baby, work with me. There we go. Alright. So there it is. So 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus screen, which I believe this is the first Super AMOLED Plus device in the US. So it's a beautiful screen. It's got physical buttons on the bottom rather than soft keys. Front-facing camera. Actually, I forgot to show you that on the Incredible. That has a front-facing camera too, the Droid Incredible 2. So anyway, back to this though. Front-facing camera, 8 megapixel on the back with flash. On the side, we've got HDMI out right here. There's your lock switch. You know, Samsung is sort of famous now for having side lock switches. On the bottom, you can see microphone. On the left side is your volume rocker, and there's your micro USB charging. On the top is your headphone jack. Okay, and then on the bottom of the device also is your giant speaker with Google. No Bing or anything like that. So everyone relax a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty much, you know, outside. It's 1 gigahertz. I believe it's Hummingbird, not Snapdragon, and you know, not dual core. I believe it only has 512 megabytes of RAM. I will have to double check on that for you. It should come pre-installed with 32 gigs, and I believe there's only 2 gigs of onboard storage possibly. So it does have the bigger storage, the bigger SD card that comes with it. Yeah, this is the first Droid. All right, so let's go ahead and power it up for the first time, being the, actually, hopefully I didn't just power on. Let me pop the back off real quick. Didn't do this for you guys yet. You can see what we got underneath. You can see the micro SD card up there is 32 gig, and that should come with everybody's. It's also a, there's your 4G LTE SIM card. Here is your battery, which is 1600 milliamps, so it's not a bad size for the battery. Like the Incredible 2, which you saw earlier, was I believe 1450. So it's got a bigger battery, bigger screen, it's got to power all that stuff. So that's what is underneath. And I'm liking that new trend of letting you get to the SD card without having to take the battery out. That's nice. So anyway, let's power it up. Show you guys this this new Droid boot animation. And then we'll get into just a quick look at TouchWiz. When I was rattling off specs a second ago, I do want to confirm that there is only 512 megabytes of RAM. There is only 2 gig onboard storage, but it's, oh, there we go. Pretty sweet, right? Anyway, 512 megabytes of RAM, only 2 gig onboard storage, but you do have a 32 gig SD card in there, so you got plenty of room. 1 gigahertz again, single core, 8 megapixels on the back, I believe 1.3 on the front. And here we go. So TouchWiz, everyone has their opinions on TouchWiz. We're not going to trash it completely yet. See if this is any different than it is on the Fascinating. But anyway, move the puzzle piece over, which we're not a fan of. But anyway, let's let all the widgets load up here. baby. Okay, so anyway, TouchWiz, as you all know, well, Samsung, as you all know, is getting sued by Apple for having icons that look identical to the iPhones, and sure enough, those are back. If we pop into the app drawer, you can see it's all the fruity colored icons, which we're, again, not a huge fan of. This is one of those things where you put Launcher Pro on it immediately. One of the cool things we do like about TouchWiz, though, is the notification bar, which actually has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth toggles and all that stuff. So I'm glad they built that into there. Other than that, though, you can see we got, you know, special widgets that are TouchWiz. As you can see, there's all your bloatware. It is Google, it's not Bing. So you can see, and I can't tell if these are just special Droid skin TouchWiz, or if these are just regular TouchWiz and it just looks droidy because of that that wallpaper that's back there. Let me pop into settings. And just flying around this phone, you can see it's pretty quick. Like, it's really touch sensitive. You can see there's not much lag in there with me moving my thumb. So I want to point that out. If we go into About, you can see it's definitely running 2.2.1. There's that SCH i510, which was the model number for a long time until it was actually dubbed the Droid Charge. Let's go ahead and go into SD card storage. So you can see right there, your onboard is at 1.12 gigs. So not a lot on there, but luckily you do have a 32 gig SD card that should give you plenty of room. I did want to point out, though, that again, this phone feels ridiculously nice in hand, and I actually sort of like these physical buttons down here. The Droid X had them. It took a little while to get used to that, but once you did, it's sort of like that. So it's sort of a totally different feel than, you know, the Thunderbolt, which obviously has the soft keys on there. So physical, soft. They're both 4.3 inch. They're both thick. That's that LTE technology. One has HDMI out. Thunderbolt doesn't. Both have 8 megapixel cameras. One has a kickstand, one doesn't. They're definitely both Google, though. They're 4G LTE. We're going to be testing battery life and all that stuff. But again, weight difference definitely there. This charge hasn't been getting a lot of love. Not a lot of people are fans of Samsung at this point after their whole update scheme. But they seem to be on the right track now. So we'll definitely be giving this some really good run and try to keep our opinions back until we actually play with the device for a while. So far, though, definitely liking the feel. Definitely got this shiny back going on, which is another fingerprint magnet you got to worry about, which is sort of unfortunate. If we look at the Incredible 2, you know, you can't put a fingerprint on that. So you got 2 places now on this phone to worry about fingerprints, if that bothers you or not. But anyway, Droid Charge, we're Droid Life. We're gonna have a ton of coverage over the next couple of weeks. So check us out at the blog, droid-life.com, and we're out. Peace.